Have you ever been in the position after you've finished a career run on an Uma that you kind of have similar stats on two of the same Umas and you kind of don't really know which one is better because the stats are so close? It's kind of hard to tell. Well, today I have a website that you may know about, you may not know about, that I've been using on the side to kind of help me determine which Uma is better for what thing, and it kind of also helps me determine what I could improve on for the future of the Uma that I'm working on. Today I want to just use these two Silent Suzukas as an example. This one's got 1200, 735, 687, and then this one has 1106, 875, and 716. I was trying to build them both for medium and get the best skills that I could, so I was like, okay, well, these are both pretty close, but I'm not really sure which one is better. Just like with GameTora, not sponsored or anything, it is this website that someone from my Twitch stream had given to me, and ever since I found out how to use it and what it was good for, I was like, okay, this is a massive game changer. This is super nice. So I just wanted to kind of bring this up as well in case someone has not seen this already. First things first, I turned off my dark mode, but we'll take a look at this top left hand section over here. This is where you can type in the name of your character. Mine is going to be Silent Suzuka. And then what we're going to do is we are going to copy the stats and skills as we see them. So this one is going to be 1106, 875, 716, 500, 331. This surface aptitude is your turf or dirt. This distance aptitude is the distance right here. So like I said, I was going to make them for medium, and then you want to make sure you change their strategy to how you were trying to build them. Ideally, you pit them up against each other as the same thing. So, you know, if you're doing two Suzukas who for whatever reason are pace, make sure you do both of them as pace. In this instance, they're both front runners. And so from here, we are going to plug in the skills. For skills that have like double circle, make sure you're doing either the single or the double circle here. And now that you've plugged in the first one, then you'll want to plug in the second one that you are comparing it to. And I've already done that beforehand. I have that done right here. So now that we have both of these Umas plugged into this website, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure we are running a track that is made for them. So for instance, you know, you can go to different places, you can have different lengths of tracks, but for this one, since it's 2400 and these were made for mediums, we're just going to run it on the mediums. Also, you can use this, for instance, this Tokyo 2400 counterclockwise. This is for the very first Champions meet that we're going to be having in the global version, and so you'll also be able to go throughout here and change it to exactly whatever it is that you're looking for, whatever meter, whatever anything here. These would be the places, and then these would be the distances that you would change them to. So we're just going to stick to the 2400 Tokyo counterclockwise. The next thing that I'm going to do is over here, if you care to see their HP consumption, so because their stamina is different, I can now hit compare. So what this is going to do is, you can see right here, it says negative numbers mean Umamusume 1 is faster, and positive numbers means Umamusume number 2 is faster. So that means who's going to cross the finish line first. You can also see this over here. If this kind of trips you up or confuses you, you can see the time to finish over here. Umamusume 1 took about 119.2 seconds, and then the Umamusume, that is number 2, took about 119 seconds. Now, 0.2 seconds, you're like, oh man, that's crazy, like, you know, it ain't that much, but when you look at it, it is a difference of, you know, ran 500 times, the maximum of 3.45, minimum of 1.22 lengths. Also, whenever you're looking at this, any of these blue skills over here will be correlated to Umamusume 1, and the red skills will correlate with Umamusume 2. You can see on this right hand side what skills popped from what areas, and then you can kind of follow this down as you would like. If you also take a look at the top left-hand corner of this chart, you can see their HP remaining. As we move further and further into the race, their HP will be changing accordingly. If you don't want to see their HP consumption, you can take off the HP consumption here, and you can just look purely at this part of the graph. This part of the graph is going to show you where they are accelerating, where they're kind of slowing down. You see they slow down here because they're going uphill, and then as they go back downhill, they kind of pick up a little bit more speed, then they kind of even off on that flat land. And then once they get to this area called the final leg, this is where your Umas will start accelerating, trying to reach their top speed as quickly as possible, assuming that they have the stamina to do so. If they don't have the stamina to do so, then your Uma will be like, hey, I need to conserve this much HP, so then I need to take off at this point later. So the further that you start your acceleration, the worse off and the slower you will be. So in regards to the question, which Uma looked a little bit better or which one is going to be a bit faster, according to this, Umamusume, a number 2, with 1200 speed, 735 stamina, and 687 power, is actually going to be a little bit faster than this Uma with the 1100 speed, 716 power, and 875 stamina. Now, whether surface aptitude plays a part into this, I'm sure it does. However, I really did think beforehand, I was like, man, surely this one with 875 stamina is going to be a little bit faster. It's going to be able to go the distance. It's got more stamina. It should be okay, and it shouldn't run out of gas. However, this one didn't run out of gas either. I'd love to assume that a big part of that was because of the swinging maestro that allowed it to kind of get a little bit of extra gas in the tank to help kind of take off and go forward. However, this is the website that I've been using to really determine and help me say, hey, this Uma I think might be better. Let me actually put numbers against it instead of just kind of going off of vibes, going off of feels, or just kind of guesswork. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of this. Now, the other thing that you could do is instead of hitting compare, you can go to skill chart. And this is where, if I click run, this is where you'll be able to see just the one Umamusume is right here. And you'll see when you go through here, you can click this skill. Let's just say red shift, which is Maruzensi's skill. And you can really play around with kind of figuring out what all this is going to give you. You can sort this by the mean, the median, the minimum, the maximum. And you can also filter out the skills, which will give you the most amount based off of whether it be the mean, whether it be the maximum, the minimum, whatever it is that you're looking for. And you can really tailor saying, oh man, if in the next time I make a Silent Suzuka, if I have some of these similar stats, if I have some of these similar skills, this Maruzensi skill will actually get me quite a bit more juice as long as it procs within this area, right? And so you can go through here and you can kind of see, depending on what skill it is that you're looking for, where these skills will pop off and what they will do for you as far as your distance on this graph up here. Now, I will say this part is not really the thing that I use this website for. I really like to just use this for the comparison, take my guesswork out of this, and it really just kind of helps me nail down like, hey, I thought this and that wasn't right. So now I can see, because of all these simulated runs, you know, you can change your sample size up here as well. Because of all these simulated runs, oh wow, this is actually a really big difference. And then even more so, you could take a look and say, oh, well, what happens if it was on a 2,000 meter? And now you can see sometimes the first Umamusume wins, but a majority of the time, the second Umamusume is winning. And this really helps a lot more so for longer distances. So sometimes you may have two Umas who are made for long. I would really pit them up against each other on the very long courses. So like 3,400, 3,200, 3,000. And then pit them against each other on something like a 2,600, a 2,800, if that's even a thing. And really look at, see like, oh, hey, this one might be better for a short long. And then this one may be better for a long. And so a lot of this is super, super helpful when determining where and when, what Uma you have made is better for which scenario. Now this really comes up for trying to get a generalized idea when it comes to team trials. When we look at things like champions meet, you're going to want to go in here and really flesh this out, really say, hey, I want this skill to pop at this time, I want this to do this at this time, so it can help me do ABC, XYZ, right? And so if you haven't been using this website, please, 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 I'd love to share this resource with you so that this can help take a lot of the guesswork out of which Uma is best in XYZ scenario. If you found this helpful, like, share, comment, subscribe on the video. I have another video coming out very soon that pertains to other websites that are very helpful that I use for different reasons. And so if you want to catch that video, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel here. And if you want to partake in any of the community cups that I host on my stream, you can catch me at twitch.tv/Tuglo, or I also multi-stream here on the channel as well. You can join the Discord in the description down below, so that way you can get the pings of whenever I do go live, because I do go live pretty sporadically, but it is towards the nighttime. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.